Hi, fifth grade. This is just a explanation for the worksheet that you had this week on time zones. It is here to help you, for you to be able to see what maybe you didn't understand, and I will work through the worksheet with you now so that you can stop it and look at it some more if you need to. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we can have a look at it. All right, so this worksheet was just so you could see how the longitude and latitude lines worked with what we had been doing the previous week. So we have got our lines of latitude going along here, which are the numbers, but they are the lines that go straight down like that, longitudinal lines. And then these are the latitudinal lines here that go across. And so here you've got your equator, you've got your tropics of Capricorn and Cancer over here as well. And you have this tropical zone that goes through Africa and parts of Australia and South America. But for today, all we're going to do is focus on these longitudinal lines over here that go from north to south. But remember, when we write them, we use either east or west. So 0 here is the Greenwich meridian that we talked about last week. What it means is that this line here goes through Greenwich meridian over here, and Greenwich is a town in England, and so then the Greenwich meridian goes straight through that town. And so we always take our points from 0. So we've got 0, and then from the next time or the next hour happens at the 15-degree mark, and then at the 30-degree mark we add another hour, etc. And the other way around, when we go towards the west, we then minus an hour. Now, of course, this is a little confusing, so I'm going to go through the worksheet and help you with this. So we have got, firstly, that it says, for number 1, it says, if it is 9 a.m. in location A, what time is it in the following locations? Okay, so 9 a.m. is over here, and it's on this line here. Okay, so we can do a little dot so that we can see it more frequently. Okay, now if I have amounts that go on the left of A, so if I'm going west, I'm going to minus an hour each time I cross a line. If, however, the alphabet letters are on the right, on the east, then I'm going to add an hour every time I cross one of these lines. So if we look at E, for instance, which is just here, we've got 9 a.m. We're going to go to the west, so we're going to minus sometimes. So then we're going to go 9 a.m., 8 a.m. on this line, and 7 a.m. on this one. Okay, so E is going to be 7 a.m. If we look at C, which is over here, so we start again at 9 a.m., which is A, and now we're going to plus an hour each time to get to C because we're going towards the east and we plus. So we're going to go 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. because now it turns, and we have p.m., which is midday or noon when we eat lunch, 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. And now you can also write that as 1900 if you wanted to as well. So you could either say 7 p.m. or 1900. If we look at B, which is over here, we once again start at A, which is 9 a.m. and we're going to plus again because it's going towards the east, and we go 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m., no, 12 p.m. because it's now midday, and 1 p.m. So B is going to be 1 p.m., or you could write it as 1300. G is over here, and so if we do it again, you will find that G is 2 p.m. It's 1 hour after B, and you can also write that as 1400. So if we look down at these answers here, these are your answers that you can look at. Okay, so I've written both options so that you can see how you can write it with PM or how you can write it with the 24-hour clock. Now we're also going to look at the next one, and it tells us that number 2, if the time and location F is 6:30 p.m., what time is it in the following locations? Now, 6:30 p.m., so we can write that in here, so we've got it. Now, just because it says 30 doesn't mean that how we do it is any different. So we still add a whole hour, or we minus a whole hour at the same time. We don't somehow suddenly change how we count it and count half hours or whatnot. So if it's 6:30 p.m. here, we're now going to go backwards or to the west and minus. And so we are going to minus that whole hour. So we've got 6:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m., 3:30 p.m., 2:30 p.m. So C would be 2:30 p.m. If we were to do H, and H is all the way over here, it's a bit more complicated, but we can do it. So F is along this line here. Okay, and so we're going to go 6:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m., 3:30 p.m., 2:30 p.m., 1:30 p.m., 12:30 p.m., 11:30 a.m. because this was midday, all right? 10:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 5:30 a.m., 4:30 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 2:30 a.m., 1:30 a.m., 12:30, and then 11:30 p.m. All right, 12:30 a.m. is when you have midnight, and so that's a.m., but then we change to 11:30 p.m. there. Okay, so H is 11:30 p.m., and the other one that you need to do is E. Okay, so you could just minus 3 hours from there and you would get it, but we can also count it and see it as well. So let's do one more so you can see. We start here again and we go 6:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m., 3:30 p.m., 2:30 p.m., 1:30 p.m., 12:30 p.m., 11:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 4:30 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 2:30 a.m., and 1:30 a.m. All right, if you see I have miscounted somewhere and it should really be 2:30 a.m. All right, so we can count it again just to check it. 6:30 a.m., 5:30, 4:30, 3:30, 2:30, 1:30, 12:30 a.m., 11:30 p.m., 10:30, 9:30, 8:30, 7:30, 6:30, 5:30, 4:30, 3:30, and 2:30 a.m. is here. All right, so those are your answers for this one. So if you look down at the bottom, you've got 2:30 p.m. for C, E is 2:30 a.m., D is 3:30 p.m., and H is 11:30 p.m. All right, then if we go to the next one, we've got number 3, if a ship is sailing on an ocean and it is 2 p.m. at the primary meridian and 10 a.m. on the ship, what is the longitudinal location of the ship? So now it's really important that we know where our prime meridian is, which is here. And now we know that it is 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And now if we need to work out an AM, we know that we need to go to the left because morning comes before afternoon. And all we do is we count backwards like we've been doing. So we go 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 12 p.m., 11 p.m., and 10 p.m. And we know 10 a.m. So we know that this a.m. is what we need to use. So once again, we'll do it. 2 p.m., 1 p.m., 12 p.m., 11 a.m. because this is midday, 11 a.m. it's now in the morning, and 10 a.m. Now to write it properly so that you can see it, you are going to you are going to use the 60, but you're also going to use west, because you can see 60 is on the side too, and it could be confusing. So we always use our west or our east to show which one it is. So we're going to do 60 west. Okay, so down here, I have written it down as 60 west. Okay, very cool. The next one is number 4, and this is if it is 12 a.m. on January 7th. Now, 12 a.m. means that it is midnight on January 7th. So just as the clock has changed, so has the date changed in Iceland at location B. What date and what time is it in the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador at location E? So really important that you understand that B is here. Okay, and it is midnight, which means that it has just changed to 7 January. Okay, but now every date, every line over here is still 6 January because it has not been midnight here yet, and so it has not changed. So we've got here that it's 7 January, so all of this will be 6 January. Now from B to E, okay, we can go along the line here, so we can do it along this line as well. Here we go. Okay, so we can count from here, and this is midnight. We need to see what it is at E. Okay, so we've got 12 a.m. We go backwards, 11 p.m., 10 p.m., 9 p.m., 8 p.m., 7 p.m., and 6 p.m. So now we know it is 6 p.m. on 6 January. And so you can write that in, so you've got it. And then just one last thing we needed to look at is we have this beautiful Earth, and you remember from science in 4th grade, you would have done something like this where you looked at the rays of the sun and where the rays land up as the Earth turns and rotates. It rotates, remember, 360 degrees, and as it has a full rotation, it is 24 hours in a day. So we start off at noon, not moon, but noon, which is 12 p.m. It's midday when we eat our lunch. And all you need to do now is at every 15 degrees, which are each of these lines, you are then going to add up another hour. So for instance, 12 p.m. is here. Then you have 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. You can see it's starting to get dark. 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and 12 a.m. So now it is midnight. It is now changing from the p.m. To the a.m. numbers. Okay, and now we're going to start looking at early morning, but super early. We've got 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. and B is 6 a.m. You can see that 6 and 6 are across from each other. Okay, you've got 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. at A, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and then 12 noon again. And so it goes round and round and round. Okay, and if you want to fill in down here properly, so you've got it, you write down the time underneath here, so 9, and whether it is a.m. or p.m. down here, so that you can fill that in too. I really hope that this helps you to understand how to do the time zones. If you are still confused and you really just need an extra bit of help, you're welcome to send me an email, and we can set up a Teams just for you and me to talk about it. Or if you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to contact me on my school email. Bye, 5th grade. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.